Think about that. And then think about Ariel Helwani after the Brock Lesnar stuff, right? So he did the Brock Lesnar stuff. He loses his credential. He's already broken the balls of like all these people and just ruffled feathers. Hey. So now that you know that your wife is with another guy, and by the way, I found some leaked photos of that guy naked. You're not going to believe the pipe he's packing. Tell me a little bit about how you're feeling, right? So after he did that, then he decided, he's like, so I think one of the main topics I want to jump into is fighter pay. You know, because I'm a journalist, right? I'm a journalist. All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. Now we're going to talk about the real reason that Dana White banned Ariel Helwani, then let him back in, and then got him fired from ESPN, because I actually know a fair amount about this, because this is the exact kind of thing I love paying attention to, because I think these stories are hilarious. I think they're hilarious because they show such a lack of awareness in some people's case, which is certainly Ariel. There's a group of people that really love to press people, but also are not prepared for like real confrontation. It's a weird personality, and Ariel has it. You know, Ariel absolutely has that personality where he is a pot stirrer and he's a presser. But then if you scream at him, right, he's the exact kind of guy that would be like, so do you want to talk about the fact that your wife was seen out with another man? And you're like, what? Do you want to talk about that? You know, like the pictures that just came out about your wife in public with another man. Are you guys separated? Is that her friend? Like, how does she know that guy? Looks like they're holding hands. Is this the first time you've seen that? And you're like, okay, I don't want to talk about this. This is the first time I've seen this. I don't know anything about it. I don't want to talk. Well, how do you feel right now? How do you feel? Hey, look at this one. Look at this picture. Look, he's grabbing her ass. Look at that. Now everyone's seen it. How do you feel? And you're like, look, you need to get that microphone out of my face right now, dude. And then you start walking away and he follows you. Dude, I have one more question. I just want to know, like, what does it feel like to find out that your wife had some dude's hand on her ass? Like, what does that feel like? And you're like, I'm literally going to tell you one more time that you need to give me 6 feet or I'm going to fucking hurt you, dude. This is not a good time. Get out of my face. This is my life. Okay. Hey, come on. To his camera guy, he's like, come on. Listen, I just have one more question. Has she ever cheated on you before? And the guy goes, and slaps him, right? And then in his mind, right, like that incident, he would go on his show and go, I was just asking the questions that people wanted to hear. I'm just doing my job. I'm a journalist, you know, like I'm just doing my job. And you know, he would feign understanding and empathy. He'd be like, I mean, listen, I understand. You know, it's a really touchy situation. He probably was feeling a lot of feelings, but that doesn't justify hitting me. You know, you can't just hit someone who's just there doing their job, man. You can't do that. That's Ariel, okay? That's Ariel, right? And in his mind, that would actually make sense to him, where he would be like, you can't just hit me. And you're like, it's like, it's not the same as the magnet is not the same thing. But like, use Joe Schilling as an example, right? Like Joe Schilling, I can't stop thinking about that. The more I thought about that video, the more I was like, good God, because I've seen a lot of Joe Schilling since then, like on videos and stuff, and I'm like, he is literally the scariest looking dude I've ever seen. Like, if you're good at reading people, like I look at him and I'm like, I mean, he looks like I know he's like a very well-liked guy and has a bunch of friends in the community. I'm sure he and I would get along, assuming that I didn't piss him off with my other videos, which was not my intention. But I look at him and I'm like, I'm real good at sizing people up. I would look at him and be like, that is a very dangerous dude. Like, that is not a guy you press, dude. That dude would fuck you up. And I mean, for sure. That's a dude that'll fuck you up for sure. And like, you know, like Dana, he's just like, that's just not a thing to him. Like he would do that to Joe Schilling, be like, hey Joe. And then he would act surprised if Joe broke his nose, you know? Big nose to break. But anyway, so that's a big preamble of where we're going with this video, right? So Dana hates him some Ariel Helwani, right? So when Ariel Helwani first got his job at ESPN, about 5 seconds later, the UFC signed their deal with ESPN, okay? And so Ariel said that he was like, man, because this is all coming from this interview that Ariel did. He was wearing a wrestler's mask actually during it. It was kind of bizarre. But he's like, yeah, you know, I just signed my deal and then the UFC signed their deal with ESPN and you know, it was like, I was like, oh man, I'm in trouble. Oh man, I am in trouble. I think Dana might try to make a move on me because Dana had previously taken his press credentials away with the Brock Lesnar thing, and we're going to talk about that for sure. And it turned out he was right. Dana did try to get him fired, and that's because Dana hates him. And Dana's allowed to do whatever the fuck he wants. As a matter of fact, here's the thing. So So Dana tried to get him fired. Then when they wouldn't fire him, Dana just made it so uncomfortable for Ariel to be there, like with ESPN. He's like, okay, that's fine. You don't want to fire him? That guy cannot be in the same room as me. I don't want to look at him. If I'm in the studio, that fucking guy needs to be somewhere else, period. And so ultimately, when ESPN came time to offer him an extension on his contract, they were like, here you go. Here's our offer. And it was like $600 a month. Look how much money that is, Ariel. $600 a month. Do you want to sign it? And Ariel's all, I think I'm worth a lot more than this. And they're all, yeah, times are real tough. Times are real tough, Like we had another contract that was going to pay about $30,000 or $40,000 a month, but we gave it to a guy where we don't have to hide him in the closet when the boss comes to town. So we figured you're worth about $600 a month. What do you think? You want to take it, Ariel? Do you want to take it? You can, we'll pay it to you. What's funny is they obviously offered him that knowing he wouldn't take it, but it would have been hilarious. He's like, all right, I'll take it. They're all, you're going to take it? He's like, yep, I will take it. They're like, well, we didn't think you were going to accept it. He's like, well, I did, so good for me. Anyway, so they fired him without firing him. So he leaves, right? And when he went out and did this interview and he talked about how Dana had basically forced him out, I saw a lot of people that were all, man, that is so messed up, dude. That is so messed up that Dana did that. And I'm like, here's the thing. Messed up, not messed up, doesn't really matter. Just doesn't really matter. Because this is one of those hard truths people are just going to have to listen to on this video and take into their heart if it's something that you don't know, okay? Dana can do whatever the fuck he wants, okay? So like there are certain people and situations that are just gravity, They're just gravity. It's like, look, it can make me mad that if I drop this thing, it's going to hit the table. But it's one of those things you just have to understand is going to happen. If I drop that thing, it's going to fall because gravity is not up for discussion. And Dana is the most powerful person in the MMA community by 100 miles. You're like, hey, who's the second most powerful person in the MMA community? And they'd be like, anybody. You'd be like, you would probably come up with someone who reports to Dana. And then if you said third, someone else who reports to Dana, who has absolutely no control over what Dana does. Dana is, there's no comparison between the two of them. So you got like the top 10 people most powerful in the MMA community, and they all rely on Dana, okay? And so Dana is gravity in the UFC or in the MMA community. He is literally gravity. If you try to fight against gravity, how do you think it's gonna go? Look, it's not fair that this thing's gonna fall down. It's not fair, okay? Please don't fall, okay? It's not right. Fuck. Listen. Look. I don't think you're thinking about this, okay? Like, it's not fair for you to fall if I drop you. It's like, it's just not right, okay? Don't do it. Fuck! Keeps on dropping. Jeez. Okay? That's what it's like to try to think through why Dana does what or whatever. Like, you need to work around Dana. Dana's the fucking man, dude. Dana is the fucking man. Dana's gravity, okay? So, is it Dana's job to make sure that he likes you? Nope. Is it Dana's job to do anything other than, Dana plays it straight. That's the thing, dude. You're not going to show, like, at least as that I've seen, you're going to have a hard time showing me a situation where Dana played it dirty. Now, you already know, what Dana's going to do. If you jump inside of a negotiation, right? And something's happening where he wants a certain outcome and you're blocking it, he might, go out in the press and say something about it, like he did to Markel Francis's manager, which once I learned the situation, I would say that actually Markel's done a pretty good job. But Dana wants Francis to fight, and so if you're in between that, Dana's gonna get mad, dude. Dana's a passionate guy. The UFC is his baby, and also I don't know the UFC side of that at all. But the bottom line is this: like, he's very predictable, and he's very, very loyal to the guys that I've never seen him attack a person that wasn't directly in conflict with him in the UFC ever, right? And so, like, the reason why he doesn't like Ariel Helwani is because Ariel Helwani usurped a bunch of stories. First of all, not even just that. Ariel did the thing, hey, Nick Diaz, can you talk to me about why you missed the press conference? Like, hey. Like, I watched one of these videos as a compilation of Ariel pissing Dana off, and I was like, Jesus, no wonder Dana fucking hates this guy, dude. And that's all before he leaked the Brock Lesnar fight. And for those of you who don't know that story, this was the straw that broke the camel's back when Dana took his press credentials away and all that stuff. was Dana told Ariel, stop. I don't know who your source is, but you need to stop running these stories about fights that are coming that we haven't announced yet. Okay, that's not your place to do it. And after that, he leaked that the Brock Lesnar fight, and that was what blew everything up. And here's the thing, dude. People might hear about that and they're like, dude, he's a journalist, man. He found out about a fight and he reported it. I actually heard a ton of people say that about that fight, and I was like, man, you guys don't understand anything. You don't understand anything, okay? Because here's the thing. You're looking at it as, here's this individual Ariel, and like, oh, he found out Brock Lesnar's fighting, and so he went out and announced it. It's not his secret to tell. He's not telling the fans anything that they weren't going to know anyway. It's not like he found out about some big scandal. He uncovered it and he released that because the fans have a right to know. He literally just took this enormous announcement that the UFC collaborated with WWE on, and that all these people worked tirelessly to build build the video packages, and that, these marketing strategy meetings with fucking dozen people in there, and they're like, okay, so this is exactly what we're gonna do the press conference here, here's the package, all of them watch it together, and it's like, boom, Brock Lesnar. They probably spent fucking hundreds of hours creating it, and it's like, oh, back, and everybody in the room, including all the executives, are like, oh shit, let's go. That's going to kick the entire community right in the balls. It's going to be awesome. Hundreds and hundreds of man hours working towards this one announcement. And then some idiot fucking tells Ariel, and Ariel's all, hey guys, Brock Lesnar's going to be fighting on the card. So then when they do the announcement, everyone's like, yeah, we already heard about that on Ariel's Twitter. Fuck that, dude. Fuck that, okay? That's not yours to tell, dude. You didn't do anything to earn that. So think about that. So all these guys, all the collective effort that they put in, right? All the plan of the contracting, the marketing, the videos, the strategy, all that shit that went into it. And then, so that's their claim to being able to tell this. What did Ariel do? He's all, hey man, what do you got for me? Hey, what do you got? Yeah, same arrangement as always. Yep, same arrangement as always. Just meet me behind the bus after the event and we'll settle up. Yeah, I like this arrangement because you could never tell anyone why you're telling me these things, because then everyone would know that you like it like this. But thanks for the info. Yeah, no, I'll keep it secret. This is my burner phone, don't worry. And then, so that's what he did to earn it, right? Gave a hand job to someone. That's what I was implying. But in reality, all he did was just get on the phone and find out about it, right? So, I mean, collective man hours over here, and hey, what do you got? Hey, what do you got? Who earned it? Like, who earned the right to announce that, dude? I mean, come on. So, of course, Dana was like, that's it. Fuck this guy. Because he had already talked to him about it, right? Now, that is that. Now, I could show you some clips, if I remember, of Ariel pissing Dana off that are just like I literally watched them this morning. I was like, oh my God, dude. No wonder, right? But here's the other thing we're going to talk about, right? So this is just a good lesson for people to learn, right? Like how Dana is gravity, right? So I'll give you an example. So I have a YouTube channel, right? Maybe you guys have seen it. Maybe you're watching it, right? So I have another YouTube channel called Jesse on Everything. And I talk about all kinds of other stuff, right? And some of those things that I run into are like social media, censorship, things like that. And when I talk about things like Twitter and Facebook censoring speech, I generally say things like, I think that Twitter and Facebook and Instagram are huge offenders here. And candidly, I don't think it's right, whatever. I'm not going to get into that. But I say, but Google has a better track record with that stuff, because I believe they do, okay? Because Google, if they don't like certain types of content, like that's just too extreme for advertisers, that's their right to do that. And they do block both sides, okay? I make a statement like that, which I believe to be true, right? And then people will come in the comments and they're all, dude, you had me right up until you said that Google does a good job. Are you serious? Google is it's like draconian, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, yeah? Read my mind right now. Think about the gravity conversation, okay? Think about the gravity conversation. So Dana White's gravity. What's Google to me, right? Google is gravity, okay? You think I'm gonna go to war with Google? I rely on Google. I think Google's amazing, right? Everything I'm trying to do, I'm doing through Google. Why would I pick a fight with Google, right? right? So if I want to, like, I will specifically make clear if I have something to say about Facebook or Twitter, I'm not saying it about Google because I love Google. Me and Google are cool. Me and YouTube are cool. They have been very reasonable with me, and that's a fact. That's true. I say some really crazy stuff on the other channel. Like really, like I press the envelope and they're always cool. Anytime that they review it, it's like, it's just true. But bottom line is, I would never say anything otherwise regardless. But I mean what I'm saying. But even if I didn't, I wouldn't say it, okay? Because it's like gravity. Now, think about that. And then think about Ariel Helwani after the Brock Lesnar stuff, right? So he did the Brock Lesnar stuff. He loses his credential. He's already broken the balls of like all these people and just ruffled feathers. Hey. So now that you know that your wife is with another guy, by the way, I found some leaked photos of that guy naked. You're not going to believe the pipe he's packing. Tell me a little bit about how you're feeling, right? So after he did that, then he decided, he's like, so I think one of the main topics I want to jump into is fighter pay. You know, because I'm a journalist, right? I'm a journalist. Like, there are people who sit in different areas of this business, right? People who do what I do now. Well, this is obviously my side hustle, but it's what I do, right? So you got people like Ariel, you got people like Luke Thomas, you got people like Dan Hardy, you got people like The Weasel, you got people like me, and we're not all the same, right? Like, you've got people like The Weasel who never talks about fighter pay. That's not his bag. He breaks down fights. He does an exceptional job. You got Luke Thomas who does interviews and breaks down fighter pay somewhat, but doesn't take like, I don't know, maybe he does talk about fighter pay, but he's pretty respectful about it, right? And then you got people like me where like, yeah, I talk about this stuff, but I don't really break down fights. Bottom line is some people are journalists, and the people who are interviewing people, those are journalists, right? Then you got analysts, and Ariel is more of a journalist, but he decided that the one thing he's going to be an analyst about is just shitting on the UFC over fighter pay. Like, he's like, that's the hill I'm going to die on. I'm going to pick the most inflammatory topic to the UFC, the topic that has the most potential impact on their bottom line, which is ultimately the health of the company. And I'm going to become a flag carrying, flag waving, let's take down the system. You know what I mean? Hey, listen to this. Listen, guys. Listen. You know how much revenue goes to NBA players versus the UFC? UFC is paying this percentage to its fighters. How about this percentage? You know what I mean? Why are they getting hosed? NBA's getting paid good. MLB's getting paid good. NFL's getting paid good. And look at the UFC, they're hosing their guys. And you're like, you already are on the UFC. You're already on Dana's shit lift. Gravity already wants to throw you off a cliff. And this is what you picked up? Fighter pay? This is the hill you want to fucking die on? Okay? Let me ask you a question, Ariel. Have you seen, actually I don't even need to ask. I know what your background is. And here's the thing. Ariel earned his spot. Let me just make very clear. Ariel earned his spot. He worked his ass off. He recognized a gap in the journalist spot in MMA, and he fucking flew out to all these small shows, started putting microphones in people. He earned where he's at, right? But because I know that, I know, hey, Ariel, can you talk to me about your experience in the C-suite managing P&Ls? Could you talk me through the biggest budget that you've ever had to itemize, or like, just talk to me, talk me through what your, your marketing and R&D budget is. Talk to me about what things cost when you're running a multi-billion-dollar business. Because obviously, if you have opinions about fighter pay, of course you have some form of experience about overhead cost and trying to at least back into what the UFC probably pays for all of the facilities, all of the marketing, all this other stuff that they do that generates no money, right? I mean, I'm sure that you've thought that through, right? Like, because if you have an opinion on fighter pay, and you haven't thought through all of this other infrastructure that the UFC does and what it probably costs and whether or not it is fair, that would be really silly, right? Because like for me, I know a lot about business. I've managed a lot of P&Ls. But because of that, I know I'm in no position to question fighter pay. I'm not against what they're paid. I'm not for anything. Like, I have no idea. I haven't seen their books. They're a private company. Why? Well, actually, you know what? Are their books public now? Because the other... Wow, you know what? I never thought about that. I wonder if their books are public now because their parent company went public. Anyway, but the bottom line is I have no opinion. But guess what? Even if I did have an opinion, I'm not going to say it if I'm against Dana and Gravity, because I don't want to get on his shit list. Because look at what it did for Ariel. Not a very good place to be. Better to have a great relationship with the boss, like Chael. I challenge you to find a single clip of Chael Sonnen talking shit about Dana White about anything. Anything. And you want to know why he doesn't? Because he understands the way the world works, like me. And Dana is Gravity. Dana's reasonable, but he's Gravity. Don't fuck with him, okay? So Ariel, I mean, you've already, picked your path, but like, for those of you who are thinking about, charting a road forward in your life, don't fuck with Gravity, okay? It's not going to be a good situation for you. Just don't fuck with Gravity. And then also, don't stick microphones and people saying, hey, this is the worst moment of your life. Do you want to tell me how you feel? No, I don't. I need to get walking. Yeah, I know. But before you do, could you tell me, does your wife like it dirty? Do you think they're doing it dirty? What do you think? What do you think the dirtiest thing he's ever done to her is? Do you think that they've ever done anything beyond him grabbing her ass? Do you know a lot of people who grab girls' asses if they have not slept with them? I don't. Look at your face. Look at your face, man. Oh, gosh, I love this job. Man. Hey, you know anybody else who's going through a really traumatic time that I could stick a microphone in their face? I love it. Like, there's just nothing I love than just more than just stirring the pot. Hey, look at you. Hey, tell your wife I said hi. Just kidding. Wait, how do you feel? Anyway, if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. Peace.